discuss how Likkle ideas are transformed into big dreams. On the toolkit, and you will access a lot of resources. A lot of the information that we presented here today, there are a lot of activity sheets. So we encourage you to download some of that information. Also, there's a digital swag bag with Good afternoon, everyone. It is your crew from Likkle Byte Ideas. We are delighted to be back in this virtual studio with you once again. It's been a few months, and we've just been pulled in a lot of different directions, addressing personal issues, also dealing with some client issues. And so we just thought with the Christmas season approaching that it would be so great if we could just reconnect and begin to discuss some of the challenges that we all face around the holiday season with shopping and managing our money. And of course, it's always a good time to practice good money habits, but we know some of the distractions that we're faced with during the holidays. Let me get my co-host in here, Megan Samuel Fields.
Well, hello, everyone. Glad to be back. It's been a minute, Dorit. It's been a minute.
It's been. But we haven't forgotten our valued...
Oh, definitely not.
Yep, we haven't forgotten our valued guests. We hope you've been getting our newsletter so that we can stay in contact that way. And if you are not getting our newsletter, this would be a good time to drop us an email at info@samuelfieldsconsulting.com. And we would be happy to add you to our list so that when we do our weekly updates, you still get our exciting news articles, our discussions, and we can stay on track. Well, again, we are what? Less than 2 weeks away from Christmas.
Isn't that scary?
It is scary. Where did the year go?
Where did the year go? It's just amazing.
Started.
It's amazing. But that's how it goes.
And we just have to thank God for life, and we're here, and we're still moving forward and bracing ourselves for 2024.
2024. I mean, I remember when we were having all the la-di-da over 2000. And we were so concerned. Well, no, before that. I'm talking about 2000, the year 2000, when the whole change of the new millennium, and we were wondering if things were going to go wrong in the IT area.
Yeah.
And
the world was supposed to end.
And we're nearly 24 years on.
And we're living in such a different world.
Different world.
So tell our guests what our topic will be today.
So today we are going to be speaking about cybersecurity, and it's looking at, well, more from the holiday season because it's now Christmas time. So we're looking at our cybersecurity tips for the holiday season. And the topic is protecting your finances and personal information. So it's a very important topic. It's very timely. It's very topical because more and more we're using the computer for so many different things. We're using the internet, and more there are persons out there wanting to take away our hard-earned money, wanting to make life more difficult for us.
With nothing better to do with their lives.
But we have to be on the lookout. We have to be alert. We have to be vigilant. And so this topic is one that I know affects us all. We all need to be aware of the do's and don'ts, the things we need to do. It's not only before we would get all the tips, like Christmas time, the police would send something out to say, you got to leave your lights on. You got to make sure you ensure that what's in you keep your money in your pocket. But it's a bit more than that now. It's ensuring that if you're using your cards, you're very careful with your passwords. You're careful with where you store your cards.
But hold
What
that thought, Megan. Hold that thought, because we're not the experts here,
I know, true. So I'm
right?
just saying these are the things. It's true. So you know what? That's a good. This is a good
Yeah,
segment for us to
let's
bring
not keep
out
our
our
guests
expert.
waiting.
That's true.
We're talking life the old-fashioned way. You were talking old talk where,
Old
in the
talk.
past it was all physical. The police
Mm-hmm.
would tell you, make sure you have a flashlight. Don't venture into
Uh-huh.
areas that are not well lit.
Exactly.
That's the kind of crime we were dealing with around the holidays. Physical crime, being attacked, robberies, and that type of thing. Of course, that never goes away. But because we all live in a virtual world and a cyber world these days, we have a whole nother set of issues to deal with, particularly during the holiday season when a lot of us let our guards down.
Yep. So
So
true.
we're delighted to welcome our guests, Mr. Alan Scholl. He's an IT specialist, and we're so happy that he can join us here today.
Good
Hey,
afternoon,
Alan.
everyone. Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Great. Welcome,
Good to
Alan.
have
Thank
you.
you.
How is your Christmas season going?
Busy.
Mm.
Busy is good,
Um,
I'm sure.
Busy is good.
yes, it
Busy
is.
is good. Oh wow. Gosh, I've known
Well,
Alan forever.
yep.
It's good to have you on the
Let's not
virtual
say
stage. No, we won't say. We won't age ourselves.
no.
Yep. But you know what's interesting? We were just talking before joining the show that we were, 23 years ago, the whole
Yes,
world was under stress around this kind of time because we were getting ready for the new millennium.
Yep, we were.
the Y2K bug.
The Y2K bug and
Bug.
the flurry of activity, the concerns and all the
Planes are
issues.
gonna fly out of the sky.
Oh my
Banks are
gosh.
gonna shut down. We're gonna lose all
You
our money.
you and I were working
Oh,
for an organization and
I, s-
all the
I
the
still have the
things
pencils.
we had to do. Oh my goodness. All the contingency plans we had to
Yes,
put in place, which they were necessary
they
because
were.
you just didn't know, and it's always good to be prepared.
Correct.
So segueing from that, I think we've lost Jeree, but I'm sure she'll join us. We want to talk about cybersecurity, and for as long as I've known you, Alan, you've been in the IT realm, and so we want to tap into your IT expertise,
Yes.
where it comes to cybersecurity and what's that all about, and how can we prevent some of the bad things that we hear happening to others, where people's identities get stolen or people's money gets wiped off their account without them knowing. How can we during this Christmas season be more prepared for this type of activity that unfortunately now is a part of our lives? So welcome to our virtual stage, Alan,
I'm
and we'll
saying.
jump right in with some of our questions. And so
Sure.
the first thing, so there are lots of talk about cybersecurity, but what really to the average person, what does cybersecurity really mean?
So I looked up a definition online from itgovernance.co.uk,
Hmm.
and they say cybersecurity is the application of technologies, processes, and controls to protect systems, networks, programs, devices, and data from cyber attacks. It aims to reduce the risk of cyber attacks and protect against the unauthorized exploitation of systems, networks, and technologies. So that's the very technical definition of cybersecurity. On the layman side of it, like personal cybersecurity would be how do I, as a person, prevent persons from hacking my accounts, whether it's in a financial institution, whether it's my credit cards or debit cards, whether it's my information.
Mhm.
So this is very timely, and very happy to be here because bad actors is what they call. People call them hackers or crackers, but they're now known as bad actors.
Hmm.
They use this time of the year to exploit because it's Christmas. We're in a giving mode, so you begin to see a lot of free things pop up in your email, onto your social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. I mean, these guys have whole call centers in some countries
Wow.
that I mean, it's like a professional organization.
So it's a business.
It's a business. They
Mm.
have hundreds of employees trying to get your money. They do things like send you email from Microsoft, or it appears to be from Microsoft,
Yes.
or Amazon, or Bank of America, or even a local bank, and
Oh
it would
wow.
say, "We noticed that you canceled your Hotmail account yesterday. Is this correct? And should I reinstate it? Please log in here." So there's a link. So the first thing you do when you see emails like this, you can delete them. That's what I do because no company would ever ask you for your login, username, and password from an email. No company. It just ignore it and delete it. Actually, I got one yesterday with a nice Microsoft logo.
Mm-hmm.
It says your live Hotmail account has been canceled by you, and they're asking for my username and password to reinstate it. That's a big giveaway. Second thing they do, they often and they target hundreds of thousands of persons, particularly in the U.S. Well, we've had instances here in Antigua and Barbuda where persons have been targeted and unfortunately have been taken advantage of. So you see, sign up for this or something free. Free is a big word.
Mm-hmm.
Free at this time is yeah, free to hack you. So just ignore those types of emails. What I normally do too, you can forward those emails to Microsoft Security. There are emails online that you can use to, so they can also use the information to further protect them and us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to
There's
tell you,
also
Alan, I got
yes,
one. Um, this was a little while ago, a few months back, um, from supposedly First Caribbean,
yes,
and on the face of it, it sounded kind of plausible,
right,
except that I happen to know people in First Caribbean, and what they were asking me, I figured they would have picked up the phone and given me a call.
right,
So I picked up the phone and gave them a call, and they said, "Mm-mm, we don't send out emails like that, but send it to us because we've had a few persons who have received this type of email, and we're trying to see if we can, by getting these, you forwarding it to us, we can
right,
try to see if we can get to the bottom of it." So
exactly.
we have to be careful. We have to be careful.
The other thing too, when an email like that comes in, you have in your thoughts, it's called phishing. So it's spelled PHISHING. It's like a fishing rod, but with a PH.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
If you put your mouse over the link, your browser should show you where that link is going to. So oftentimes you put the browser, all it says Amazon.com, blah blah blah. If you put your mouse over that link, you'll see it's going to a site in Russia or China and several other countries. So right away you know, delete it. Just don't even think about it. Delete it.
I see. That's a good point. I didn't know that one.
Yes. So if you hover the mouse over those links, you see the link itself, and it will pop up with a sometimes very 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 long link, very long link, like 100 characters. But embedded in that is the site that
Mm.
this link is. And if you click on it, it'll take you to a really nice looking site. It looks exactly like Amazon, or it looks exactly like Microsoft, or it looks exactly like Apple, or as I said, local finance institutions, Caribbean finance institutions. So you have to be very careful. They steal the logos from the sites. They create these websites that look exactly like the real websites. And that's how you get caught.
Mhm. Okay. So it's not only that we just look at a logo and assume by seeing the logo that we're at it's the correct organization
Exactly.
that's trying to interact with us. We have to dig a little deeper.
Correct. So
Wow.
now, so beyond the personal space, what they often do is called spear phishing. So it's spear, PHISING, where they target persons. So they log on to, go into a bank's website, download their annual report. So they know who the CEO is, they know who
Wow.
the chief financial officer is. So then they say, okay, if it's, a shoal at gmail.com or allenscompany.com, they would then take the first letter of the person and the last name, and they would send email to all these persons targeting the person. And what they also do sometimes, they target your employees. So
Oh.
they know mfields at sfcg.com is the clerk or the administration assistant, and they would send a message with a fake email with your name as the CEO saying, please urgently send this wire or please urgently send a draft to XYZ. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, in some cases, depending on how the organization is structured, particularly if it's a large organization, that person may be intimidated because they're getting an email from the GM or the CEO and would
Mm-hmm.
act on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would create even more issues within the company.
Wow.
So what
These
I hear,
people.
right? So what I hear here, this is a very sophisticated operation, and people
Very
should
Extremely.
sophisticated.
realize
They
that
have
you can't fight them on your own.
no,
This is a cartel. It
it's a
almost sounds
cartel.
like.
It's a cartel.
Yeah, it is. It is.
If you
So
go
it
on
calls
YouTube,
for vigilance.
it calls for vigilance. Absolutely.
And take it seriously, because
Very
Take it
seriously.
these
seriously.
people, you're telling me they're call centers. This is a business for them.
It's a business.
Mhm.
Targeting millions of people, and you even get 0.01%.
Correct.
Your
At any
bingo.
rate,
Bingo.
that's like a bingo right there.
Yep.
What they also
Wow.
do,
That is very scary.
too, they target the elderly,
Oh, I can
particularly
Ah.
in
imagine.
the US. Particularly in
Ah.
the US, they target the elderly. So they send you an email that says, your Microsoft support has expired. Or if I don't have if I use Apple, and then of course I just dump the email and hang up the phone. But there are cases where they do have Microsoft. They think, okay, yes, the support has expired, and they end up wiring money to these people, like 10,000
Oh
USD.
my.
And there's so many sad stories on YouTube. If you search for India hackers on YouTube, it's just unbelievable what they do. Unbelievable. So on the flip side, they have these guys now who target them. So they go after them and shut them down.
So
They
these are like bounty killers.
bounty killers. They alert the authorities in these countries, and they
Mhm.
track them down. They track down
That
their
is
IP addresses.
interesting.
They track down the building, and they're hackers too. So what they do, they get video of them and show them their own pictures and call by them by their real name, and they panic. And yeah, it's massive. It's really massive.
Mm. But I'm sure for everyone that they successfully bring down, there are 4 or 5 others that pop
Oh,
up.
right away, right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Alan, I have a question for you.
Yes,
Kind of with the advent of AI and the ability to do so many different things, how has this cybersecurity problem even worsened with AI capabilities?
it's even worse. I was on a 2-day webinar on AI a few months ago. If they record your voice for 18 seconds, they can reproduce your voice, and you would
Oh my
not know.
goodness.
Even your own spouse would noise you. It's that
Oh
good.
my
Oh, that's
goodness.
crazy.
So I got a call last month from from a person who I dealt with on a business, and it came from a Ghanaian number from Ghana. And I'm like, this cannot be, you know, let's say Susan. But they captured her voice and called me with her voice, a computer. And only when I realized, and she was Jamaican, so it even had the little, yeah, man. And this is from a computer.
Oh my
From an,
goodness.
this is from an AI generated voice of this lady calling me from a Ghanaian number. and it was scary because I said,
Wow.
"This is her." And on the flip side now, while I'm talking to this AI computer, they're probably recording my voice, 18 seconds of my voice
Mm.
that now can be used to scam, so persons, let's say in Antigua, that Alan Shaw is calling. It's crazy. It's really scary what
Wow.
these things can do. It's really scary.
Wow.
Yeah, I've
And
seen a couple of exposes where parents get calls from kids asking for money.
Correct. Yes.
I've been arrested. Desperation. Of course, you hear your child's voice. And if
Exactly.
you're a child, if you get a call, your child is locked up and they're telling you I'm in jail. Of course, you're going to send the bail money immediately.
That's
So I've
exactly what
seen
happened.
that, and I just
They use that.
wondered when I saw it. I said to myself, this can be used in so many different ways to just rip people off.
Correct.
so, Alan, in a case like that, is there any? I know they will catch some people, but is there anything we can do if we are in a right frame of mind? 'Cause I'm thinking if I get a call from my son, I don't know if I'm going to be thinking that it's false, but if perchance I do think, could this be false? Is there a way for me to verify?
Honestly, not really, because it's so good. I mean, if okay, for instance, if you got a call from your son saying, "Mom, I'm locked up," and I would get a number from the authorities from him, and you call them to verify.
Call them,
That
yeah,
would be a
yeah,
backdoor
Yeah, that's what
or
they
if,
said.
verification.
Before you
right,
do
or if they're
anything,
not, call back,
call back and verify with your son. Did you
yeah,
just call?
Correct.
Yeah,
right,
I've seen several instances on television. It's just crazy.
So,
oh,
if from an emotional point of view, your first reaction is to send the money or help, but
yes,
sometimes you do have to
pause,
step, pause for that half a second and say,
yeah,
this doesn't make sense. Would he really be arrested?
yeah,
So, I mean, like I said,
wow.
they're really getting good and it's really getting difficult.
So they're getting really good. We have to try to see how we can stay on top of things. We have to continue to be aware of
Correct.
these things and do our best, do our little that we can, or as we say here, our little that we can
Yes.
to ensure that we keep our assets safe.
Correct.
And one of the things you said that I think is really important as well, it's not just for us, it's for others. So you mentioned the elderly.
Yes.
I can see how the elderly could easily get scammed with something like this. They don't want their account to be locked down, so
Correct.
they get a message to say something is wrong. You haven't your thing has your Microsoft account has expired.
Correct.
I can see them right away saying, "Okay, let me pay this because I don't want to not have access to my account." So I think we have a duty as well to spread the word
Yes.
to those around us, especially the elderly, letting them be aware. Listen, we're not in times or like how it was in times gone by. Not everything you see on the computer is actually true and correct. And so we have to really ensure that we spread the word.
Yes. Absolutely
Yeah.
agreeing. Hence why I'm here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, are there any other, you mentioned fishing, spear fishing. Are there any other, especially around the Christmas season, any other scams that are usually, that you usually see around this time of year?
So I'd say go to a physical stage, like for instance, a debit or credit card. You just have to be careful. How you something as simple as like you're in a supermarket, for instance, and they flip the little point of sale machine around, and they
Hmm.
actually put in your pin. Just
Ah,
use your left hand and just cover it over,
hmm,
and even at an
wow,
ATM, just put because you have scams. We have had scams in Antigua where ATM. So just cover the keypad while you put in your pin. So that's one little
hmm,
tip.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
Just be
What
careful with.
about,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I know of situations where we're at like the restaurant and you're paying and you would give them your card.
Yes.
But of course, I've seen on TV where they say, sometimes some things happen when they're not in your presence.
Correct.
Would it be prudent for us to say to them, listen, you bring your device to
Yes,
to the table so
absolutely.
that we can actually swipe our card or insert our card? Would that help?
Absolutely. Yes, it
Yeah.
would help. The only good thing is most of the banks now use chip cards,
Right. So I might just tap.
whereas it would be in the past when you had what they call mag stripe or the magnetic stripe, it would be
Hmm.
very easy to swipe that magnetic stripe. But
Hmm.
now, most cars are chip and pin, so
Right.
it'll be a little more difficult to them for the bad actors to get access to the data on the chip.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
So, and we're still in a bit of a transition. Some companies still swipe,
Hmm.
but for the most part, I think even here in Antigua and Barbuda, we are moving to chip readers, chip reader POSs, chip reader ATMs. So that has somewhat lessened, but it still exists.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, just funny, just today I was talking to another third-party consultant, and what in the restaurants, what they would do, they would have a magnetic swiper reader in their shoes, the waiters and waitresses,
Wow.
and they would
In
drop your
Antigua?
card, not necessarily in Antigua,
Oh, okay.
not necessarily in
Hmm.
Antigua, but who knows?
Yeah.
And
Well,
they
you
would
never know.
accidentally drop your card, and when they pick it up, they swipe it in the shoe. I just lost me.
Wow.
So yeah, you just have to be vigilant. I know one of the questions that was also posed here too is our digital identity.
Yes, that's another big issue.
So, for instance, so make it just in case you didn't hear, I
No,
want to
I
kind of
did.
move on
I did.
digital identity. So
Yeah.
often, let's say on a Facebook page, you see, what is your grandmother's maiden name? Never answer those questions. What they're doing, they're building your profile
Mm-mm.
because those questions that they ask, and you see really strange questions like, how old were you in 1980? Well, that's just determining what the year you're born.
Yeah.
And it's just one question every
Oh.
month. What's your favorite dog? What was your first dog's name? Those questions
Yeah,
are
first
the
pet.
first pet. Those
So,
questions are what the banks ask you
Yeah, typical
right.
questions that you get.
to
Yeah,
reset your password.
exactly.
So,
So you're saying these questions come up separate from like a bank?
oh yeah, on Facebook, just
Oh.
weird, maybe
Oh, okay.
a group that says, discussions Antigua and Barbuda, or I
Oh,
don't want to
okay.
get specific, but they
Right.
ask you questions and people answer all the time.
Yeah,
Oh,
My
and
grandmother's
people
maiden
people
name
think
was
it's a good group
Williams. So,
exercise.
yeah,
Something that's
okay.
nostalgic about it. But really,
do
they're trying
not
to get your personal information.
correct, and they build it over time. So they ask you one
Exactly.
question this month, another question in February, another question in July, and they can wait.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
they take that. So now they have your birth year, you have your grandmother's maiden name, you have your favorite pet, you have your first dog, you have your high school that you went to, and they build a profile. So
Wow.
do not share, do not ever share that kind of information on in a social media setting. Never.
Hmm.
It will come back to haunt you. Maybe 10 years from now, but they now
Oh,
have a profile and you have all those wonderful questions that they now can use to change your password on your mobile banking app or your
Scary.
Amazon
it is.
account.
Scary.
They I mean, this is a job for them.
It's a
We are
job.
professionals in our fields. They are professionals in their field of stealing.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's all they do. They do nothing else.
Yep.
They do nothing
Yep.
You
else.
would think, as old people would say, it's easier to find hard work to do.
Of course.
That's they seem
Because
to
I mean,
enjoy it.
with
They
those
enjoy that.
kinds of skills, they could put it to good use.
They
Oh, for
could,
sure.
but they don't.
Wow.
But
They
the key,
don't, and we need to be aware of that
That is
because
correct.
I know we all work hard for our money. So we are not going to allow these hackers and scammers and what do you call them, bad actors
Bad actors.
hmm
That's the new
to
words. Those are the new words.
bad
but
actors not going to spoil our play.
Nope.
the way I see it, it's all it is. It's the typical crimes that we're used to in the physical realm now being transferred. So the acts. that we're
Correct.
used to in the physical realm, and we had to protect ourselves against. And of course, it had its limitations, and there were certain guidelines and tips that you're asked to follow. In this new
Exactly.
age where we're actually more digitally connected, a
Yes.
lot of those malintentions have been transferred to the digital realm, and we now have to relearn techniques to protect ourselves. But
Correct.
at the core of it, it's still these bad actors that, in the physical sense, people who just don't want to seek gainful employment and seek to take advantage of people. Those bad elements have been transferred to the digital world, and we just have to recognize that, just like you have to protect your physical home, right? And there's certain safeguards you would take in the physical realm. Now that you're operating, you're shopping online, you're more digitally connected, and in the virtual space, you must be prepared to take similar or take actions to protect against your spending habits and to protect your property, which in this case is more your financial information, your personal information, which can then erode your wealth, which is what we have been dealing with for generations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on
That's
a
really
global
a good
scale.
point.
On a
Exactly,
global
Wow.
scale.
global scale.
So you can have somebody
Yeah,
sitting
they
in.
used to talk about a global village.
Yeah.
Forget it. Forget global village. It's more like a global room.
Correct.
But
They
you
can
know
steal
that.
money from your account from Nigeria, from Russia,
Yeah.
from China.
Yeah,
How do you get that back? There's no recourse.
no recourse at
And
all.
I like what you said, Dorit, about the same way we would take care of our physical assets. We have to do similar things in the digital world because we wouldn't just take out our wallet and flash a whole bunch of money
And be reckless about
around
your
with people
managing your wealth.
around, or have your wallet and leave it on the table and walk around. So
Exactly.
if we're using a laptop somewhere publicly, we have to recognize if we're typing in something in the laptop that might be a password or something, we have to be careful that we don't let others see it because that's really the gateway to your money.
Well,
And
they're
so
much more sophisticated than that. They don't even
you're
have to
right.
physically
You're
see anything,
right.
right,
You're
Alan?
right. And especially if you're using um,
Wi-Fi and
public
all of that.
Wi-Fi and that kind of thing. Oh my
Correct. So
goodness.
on that point, I'm glad you raised that point. We have to be also very careful when we connect to public Wi-Fi's. So
Mm,
free
wow.
Wi-Fi is a is a very
It's not really
very
free.
dangerous because in many cases you connect to, let's say, Wi-Fi at the airport. It's in the clear, so everything you type can actually be picked up. There's a program called Wireshark, and that's free. You can download it onto your laptop. Bad actor can download onto his laptop, and he can sniff all the traffic and passwords that are in the clear on that network sitting in the airport. Now,
Wow.
to protect yourself against that, now you can use a public Wi-Fi, but you need what they call a software VPN, virtual private network.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I don't work for any of them. I don't have any recommendations. But if you search for, VPN software,
Yeah.
they would come with recommendations. Sometimes there's a fee. I think the one I use is one called Strong VPN. It's about 24 US a year, but you connect to securely across these networks,
Hmm.
and that would prevent anyone from seeing your keystrokes or your passwords or even the sites you go to. Because that's the other thing too. Privacy is we, we have a very false
Relative.
concept of privacy. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, even the company you work for, I mean, they can technically see which sites you go to, maybe even sniff your email. So you just have to be careful, particularly in the public space when using public Wi-Fi. That can be risky, especially if you're going to log onto a bank account on a public
Hmm.
Wi-Fi. Do not do
Yeah.
that. If you're not
Right.
using a VPN, do not access financial accounts on your laptop,
Yeah.
particularly in a public place, an
Okay.
airport or down on a.
Yeah. Hmm. Wow. So it just shows that technology makes things so much easier. You can get things at your fingertips. So no longer do you have to physically go to the bank and do certain transactions. And so, on one hand, it is so easy and convenient. So the convenience is there, but along with the convenience comes an added responsibility
And
for you to
awareness.
ensure, and awareness to ensure
Mm-hmm.
that what you're doing does not expose you to the hackers.
Correct. So I'll give you
Yeah.
another one. I mean, we can talk about this for hours. So, we're all very familiar with wireless taps on our debit and credit cards. Unfortunately, what that also opens you up to is, and it has to be close proximity. So picture this: your debit card is in your wallet, in your purse, and you're walking to a supermarket. There are devices that can pass really close to you. Sometimes they bump you and sniff your credit card information.
Hmm.
Oh, come on now. Come on now, Alan.
Nope. Now it's not common, and the equipment, is probably difficult to
Maybe
find
not
now,
common yet.
but it can happen. I
Wow.
know more recently, the cars again, because we use chip technology, that has been reduced, or the risk has been reduced. But
But it's
these are
there.
possibilities. These are possibilities.
Wow.
So
Wow.
someone may walk past you and bump you. It's just enough to get close to your wallet or your debit card, and they can sniff through the Wi-Fi.
Mm.
Still touch the wireless tap.
So me
Again,
making the decision, I'm making the decision. I'm going to the supermarket and I'm just going to carry my card because it's safer to have my card than cash.
bad.
Right.
But is it?
So they what and to prevent that now, what we do there are wallets and purses that are what they call RFID protected. It, it prevents
RFID.
it prevents it prevents the hacker from accessing your wireless tap.
Mhm.
So actually, my wallet is I actually specifically bought it for that, so it protects my cards.
So
Um,
RFID. Okay.
yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah. I mean, we can go on and on. It's really scary.
Yeah,
And the
and
one of the questions. Go ahead.
what I'm realizing is it's not enough for us to
No,
know it at this point in time. It's something we always have to, because the hackers are going to be one step ahead.
Oh,
one
So
step
that's their
ahead.
job.
That's their
that's the
job.
job. Mike.
That's it.
So
That's their
we also
job.
have the job too to
Yeah.
ensure that we try to keep up.
Yes,
So
yes,
convenient. What I'm hearing here is that convenience comes at a price,
Comes at a
it
price,
does.
as a
and
price.
then the other thing I was thinking about as well. Um, of course, we focus on financial literacy, financial planning. This cybersecurity issue is
Yes,
something you have to build into your financial planning
Have to.
because
Yeah.
you're practicing certain habits in terms of transactions per month. You may be transferring things or paying things, automated payments,
yes,
which we preach as good financial habits. And what typically happens is if you have automated payments because you're hell bent on I am going to get on a good financial track. A lot of us we just proceed, the money is deducted, and you really don't go back to check to see, and especially if you're not living hand to mouth, your
yes,
bills are being paid, and somebody can probably set something up where they're extracting small enough amounts from your account every month. And if you're not paying attention, you think that you're doing the best thing by having all of your payments automated so that you can be, on a good financial track and practice better financial habits. But you still have to be vigilant in
yes.
terms of doing certain checks and balances on a regular basis to make sure
So true.
that someone is not invading your personal information.
So I can give you an example that happened to me about 3 or 4 months
But
ago.
we can hold that thought.
Uh huh.
We haven't given our audience a chance to even pose questions. So before you get back to that
Yes.
question or to that comment, we want to invite all of our listeners. We want to welcome you once again. We know that we've been gone and certain persons may not even be aware that we're on today. We tried to get the word out, but please share the live and let your friends know that your
We're
girls group,
back.
Byte Ideas, we're back and we're talking cybersecurity. We're actually trying to get everybody on a smart track for the holiday season, and give you some ideas as to how you can protect yourself. So we've been having a very interesting discussion. I hope you've been following, and we'd love to hear some of the experiences that you might have had. If you have questions or recommendations that we can discuss, we'd love to hear from you. So we're going to continue speaking, but feel free. The format of the show has not changed. Feel free to drop your questions, your comments, your inquiries in the chat, because we'd love to hear about your experiences. And we have our IT specialist who is well versed in all of this, and he can perhaps provide all of us with some great tips as to how we can protect ourselves. So, Megan, back to your example, but I wanted our
Right.
guests to feel welcome.
Absolutely. So it was about 3 months ago, and I always check my credit card statement when it comes. In fact, I don't even wait for it to come. I go online, and from time to time, I would check. For whatever reason, I think I was really busy, and I think it was like September. I was really busy, and I didn't check. But sometime in, but I mean, whatever the balance was, I checked the balance. I didn't check the individual, but the balance seemed okay. So no biggie. But the next month, I went back. Well, in the month, I saw these two bills. One was for like 30 something dollars, and another one around that same amount for whatever the description was. It made no sense to me. But I think it had like an email, a website, www, some leadership something, which isn't odd for me. Maybe it's something I subscribe to,
Sure.
but they did not make sense. So I went to the website, and it was some women's network something. And I thought, that doesn't make sense. I don't know this thing. And I thought, you know what? I didn't check my statement properly last month. And yeah, they billed me 2 months in a row for some subscription, some membership, for which to this day I have absolutely no clue. I suspect they're both related. Maybe they tried one and realized they got through.
Mm-hmm.
So they did it again. So for 2 months, I was billed not that much, because had it been hundreds of dollars, it would have.
You would have been flagged immediately.
But and then here's the other thing that just so up well. I guess it is what it is. So of course I had to file the complaint and all of that. And as a result of that, I had to get a new credit card, which was such a bother and
Yeah.
but you
Yes.
have to, it just reinforced for me, for someone who speaks about financial literacy and all of that, it was like another reminder, you can't slip. You cannot slip. You got to be checking your statements.
You have
You
to.
got to know what's supposed to be there. You have to be vigilant, because these people, as Alan has said, this is their job, and they're going to find all the ways they can to fleece you out of the little money you're making.
Yep. So cybersecurity is something we definitely have to add to the financial planning toolkit.
Right.
Have to, have to, have to.
So another thing to
And
do.
yeah,
You
go
go.
ahead, Alan. No, you go
So
ahead.
in your case, it was $30. If you suddenly see a $1 charge on your
Mm,
credit, report that to the bank, because they're just testing
Yes.
yes.
something somewhere. So
Yes.
you may see a $1 charge at 6 p.m. but knowing you're gonna get like maybe a $500 charge in a few
Mhm.
hours.
They just wanted to see if it went through.
It is once you went through
Yeah.
$1,
Mhm.
one single dollar. You didn't buy anything for $1,
Yeah.
but it's testing maybe a scammed card or
Mhm.
$1 charges are very important
Yeah.
to also be mindful of.
So you can't just see the $1 and figure, oh, it's so
No,
small. I'm not gonna bother
they're
to
just
Yeah.
setting you up.
investigate, because
They're
yeah,
just
they're
setting you
setting
up.
you up,
Yeah.
setting you up.
Setting you
A
up.
lot of times you have to read the fine print too. There was a time I gave a donation
Yes.
to the Democratic, DNC. It might have been when Trump was being elected. They pissed me off enough that I figured, you get all these emails, stop Trump,
Right.
and of course, I'm thinking, what does $5 hurt? If my $5 can help stop Trump, why not? But
It
I
didn't.
think maybe 6 months later, I realized that my $5 was still coming out.
Yes.
Ah,
I mean, I don't want
it
to
was
stop
a
Trump that
recurring.
bad. So a lot of times, and what might have happened to you, Megan, and it's because it's happened to me, doing a lot of research sometimes, which we often do for this show and other purposes, you may sometimes go and download a white paper or go and
Mhm.
download something that they say it's free, no charge, but you notice they still ask for your information. They may not have asked for your billing information, or even sometimes some of these apps where they're saying free app, but they still need your credit card information.
Correct.
You have to be extra vigilant because once you
Yeah.
provide that information, even though they say it's free, they may not bill you that same month, but give it a
Ah.
few months down the road when you
Oh.
unlet, if they bill you immediately, of course you have that recall and you think, no, 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 I did not. I remember these people. Why are they billing me? But if they
Okay.
get to a little delay for 6 months, you've probably done 7 searches in between, looking at different things, not even recognizing that these people, they have your information, so they can bill you. So I'm very reluctant to put in any kind of transactional
I
information, even though
generally
there's a
don't.
claim that I won't be billed.
Correct.
Hmm.
Because once
Yeah.
you have my information, you can use it.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. My goodness. Okay.
So again, as we were talking about earlier, 23 years later, the world did, the world did not come to an end, as some might have speculated. We're still going strong, but we're living in such a different world.
Totally
Anyone
different.
who passed away in 2000 or in that era, in that realm, that around that time frame, if they had to come back to life now to see what we are dealing with and what the whole concept of cybersecurity and shopping online and this whole digital
Yeah.
space and virtual space, they would think, to them, the world really, they would think the world really came to an end
It's a new
because we
world.
are
It is.
It's
totally
a new
the
world.
old world, you know,
Isn't that a
the
soap?
world as we
Old
know
world.
it.
So as the world
uh,
turns.
yeah, the world as we know it in 2000 definitely came to an end. We're in a
Yeah. You're
totally different
right. You're
space right
so
now.
right. Yeah.
I was at a
But
picnic this weekend, and we were talking, having different these conversations, and someone looked at me and said, "Do you realize that unless you were born, let's say 1985, you have no clue what Y2K bug is or was? No clue.
What?
The Y2K bug,
Y2K.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
no clue.
Wow, that's true.
You know what's
Wow.
interesting? In 1999, or I might have left just before 1999, but you remember Y2K, the prep started maybe like in 1997
Yes,
Yes. Hmm.
and 1996.
correct.
And I worked in Princeton next to Merrill Lynch. So it was a big compound. Our office was like a circle, like a circular place with like 5 huge buildings. My building was the very last, but the building before us, Merrill Lynch had the whole building. And something like a place like Merrill Lynch, they hired all of these. That was the time I even considered going into IT because back then, all you had to do was to do like a 6 week course or a 3 month course, qualify as an IT specialist, and you're making mucho, mucho dinero.
Mucho dinero.
So there was an explosion. So the Merrill Lynch building next to our building didn't have enough parking. So it was
Wow.
like a jam session in the suburbs caused by Merrill Lynch and all the people, all of the temporary workers that they had just leading up to Y2K. So
Wow.
it was a disruptive time indeed from
Oh,
Yeah.
from
yes.
the work standpoint.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we do have a few comments on our board here, so I will go to them now. We have Lenore Henry Scholar. Hi, Lenore. She says, listening, happy holidays. I love. Thank you so much. And then we have Kara. Welcome back. Thank you. Good to see you, or good to hear from you. Connie Jenkins says, great information. Thanks, Connie. Oh my goodness. Blast from the past. Roseanne Etchinoff. How
Oh
are
my
you, girl?
goodness. Hi, Roseanne.
It's been a long
Yeah, long
time.
time. Good to see you.
Roseanne says, welcome back, ladies. Love your topic. Would you advocate checking your bank account every day in an effort to intercept any issue that could be overlooked? I support
Oh
that
yes,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good practice. I don't know how many of us practically have the time to do it, but it's a good
I,
practice.
I do it.
Yeah, I do
Maybe
it
not every day, but
every day.
I go on just at a glance. Just I know what my balance should be. So
Yeah.
even if it's just to check my balance, I do it. And of course, everything is on your phone, so it takes a few seconds. It's something I've been trying to get my sons to do. Just it's a habit that if you do it, it could help you to intercept any kind of any problems that you
Right.
have. So thank you so much, Roseanne. That's a really good point.
To add to that point, though, most financial apps do have notifications. So you can go and turn on a notification that says, notify me if a deposit or a withdrawal occurs. Credit
Okay.
card then notify me if there's a charge above $20.
Hmm.
Okay.
Notify me. So you can turn those on and you can get SMS messages or
Right.
in some cases now WhatsApp messages or email
Uh-huh.
that tells you when there's activity in your account. So if you don't want to have to log into all your accounts, you can set up these messages or notifications
Mhm.
to keep an eye on your accounts.
That's a really good idea. Thanks for that, Alan.
Yes.
A question I have, Alan. Of course, I worked in tourism for many years, and I'm seeing a lot in doing some research for this show.
Yes.
Travel is an area where people are just pummeled with all kinds of scams at this type of year. At this time of
Yeah.
year, there are lots of articles out there telling people are traveling, making changes to the itineraries, looking for, you're traveling, so you're checking out restaurants, you're doing a lot of searches, and you're very active online if you're planning a trip over the holidays. Any
Correct.
advice specifically as it relates to travel? Of course, we talked about using public Wi-Fi. If you're traveling outside of your country, you
You're home.
definitely
You're home.
everyone you're home.
You're
You
home.
definitely, you want WhatsApp.
Correct.
You don't want to use all your data, so you're definitely looking for WhatsApp. You're looking for Wi-Fi so you can make phone calls and what have you. But anything in the travel space, just because people are tend to be traveling, whether it's for shopping ahead of the holidays or actually going to connect with family. Any specific advice for travelers?
Sure. So one thing that popped up recently, people often share pictures of their boarding pass.
Hmm.
Big no
Really?
no. Yes, I've
Well, why
seen
would you
this.
do that?
I don't know. So there was a post in one of I think it was like Instagram or Facebook where someone posted their boarding pass and someone else canceled the flight because they had the specific information from that boarding pass. So like
Look at that.
yeah. So just have to be
Wow.
careful. And even sharing when you travel. Don't tell someone, yeah, we're
Don't
gonna go to New
overshare.
York. Yeah, because now they know you're not home. So now your house
Exactly.
become a target.
Yeah.
Don't post pictures while you're on vacation.
Yes.
Post
Yeah.
them when you
And
get
don't give
back.
too many specifics either.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oversharing is never a good
Oversharing
thing,
the user
especially when it's
information.
public.
So
Yeah.
on your boarding pass, you may see let's say American Airlines AA Advantage number. There may
Right.
be
No,
what
seriously.
time you're leaving, what time you're arriving. It just don't share. Just
Yeah.
What is it
minimize
about authenticating your accounts?
in terms of
I've seen a lot about two digit
okay,
authentication.
Two-factor authentication.
factor
Two-factor
authentication.
Tell us about
authentication.
that.
Right. So for instance, you have a banking app and you want to log in. In many cases, so if it's on a mobile phone, the phone exchanges a code with the financial institution,
Mhm.
and it creates a secure tunnel. If you're on a website, and in particular if you're on a public website, which you shouldn't be, you can set up two-factor authentication. So it's Your username and password, that's the first factor. And the second factor is either an email on SMS with a code, which you then have to, again, use before you get authenticated. So it's usually used for websites. There are also other, for instance, Outlook from Microsoft, Adobe, who does Photoshop and graphic applications. They actually have an app that authenticates you. So if I log on to, let's say, Adobe to do some Photoshop work, it then tells me go on your app and click on 19. So I have three options: 53,
Right.
19, and 0. If I don't touch 19, I cannot log in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
PayPal, for instance, PayPal uses that as well. There's an authenticator app. So if you log into PayPal to pay, buy something on eBay for Christmas, for instance, the screen comes up with the 6 digits that you have to put in, and that comes from your app. So the app generates a new code every 5 minutes. So at that point, you'd have to put in, let's say, 579-103 before you're even allowed to pay the item. And again, this is, they're now the companies in the background, because they also get hacked, are using these techniques to authenticate you.
It just kind of slows the process down, but it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Yeah. So a particular bank in Antigua, every time I go on, I just have to, because I know I'm going to get a code. Then I have to put in the code. I have to rolling my eyes, but I know it's the right thing. It's the right thing. So it's just a 1 minute wait. So it's worth it.
It is. It's a part of the landscape, right?
It is.
Where you need a fence and a dog and a security system and an alarm and cameras.
Exactly.
No, you need
and you know what the problem is too? Sometimes because we are so accustomed to getting everything now,
right?
We don't want to wait.
Yes.
Because that two-factor authentication takes all of 1 minute.
And that's what digital is supposed to be. Immediate, the convenience.
Yeah,
but like we said, convenience comes to the price.
Comes with the price. Comes with the price. We have a few more. We have a few more comments.
We are almost to the end of the show. This went by so quickly.
It did. But we have some comments I want to make sure we get in.
Go right ahead, and then I'll sum up the key points.
Absolutely. Okay, so Ali Nelson, she says Y2K. Yes. I know you know a lot about Y2K in another life.
In another life.
Tracy Ben Roberts says, a very timely topic. Enabling alerts can assist in keeping track of your account activities. So true. Thanks, Tracy. And Roseanne says, very true. The notifications are immediate, and it allows you to give approval for any transactions that are hitting your account via texts. So these are ways that we can try to protect ourselves in this new digital era with the bad actors.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Well, I found a very oh, are you done, Megan? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm done. Yeah, we're done.
Okay. No, I found a very nice slide. Unfortunately, we aren't able to share it, but it talks about, and we'll share it on our Facebook page, so you can go and check it out. But it's giving you some tips on how to be cyber smart holiday shopper. And essentially, it says, number one, conduct research. When using a new website for purchases, read the reviews to see if consumers have had positive experiences. You got to look at the reviews. Okay. It says, when in doubt, throw it out. Alan talked about this. If you get links to emails, if you get links in emails, posts and texts, this is how cyber criminals try to steal your information or infect your devices. That's another thing. Sometimes it's not even so much stealing information. They want to infect your devices. And I still never understand how that benefits you. But I guess it's people who, you have people like that in real life as well. They're just destructive. They get some satisfaction from destroying other people's property. Thirdly, protect your money. When shopping online, make sure the site is security enabled. Look for URLs that start with HTTPS and the /. I've been hearing that on television all for the past month. So if it does not have is it the double slash it needs to have to be authenticated, Alan, or the HPP?
The S.
The
It's the
S, the
S?
HTTP S, the
Mhm.
S,
The
yes.
S.
It's the S. Okay. So look up for that S, make sure it has it. It only takes you a second to
Correct.
verify. Then they're saying stay 2 steps ahead, which is what we were talking about. Turn on your 2-step authentication on
Hmm.
key accounts like your banking, your medical, and your email, so
Correct.
that anybody who tries to access it, they have to get that authentication and the alert sent to your email or to your phone. And then lastly, another great tip is get savvy about Wi-Fi hotspots, which we talked about today.
Talk about, yeah.
Limit the type of activity you conduct on public wireless networks when
Correct.
shopping on the go. Please
Yes.
wait till you get home in the privacy of your home to check your bank statement,
Yep.
or to your social media might not be as um, at risk, but definitely anything that involves your finances and personal information, we definitely recommend that you hold off checking any of that until you are in a safe area and using Wi-Fi that you are familiar with. So, and again, we talked about as well AI, which is a fascinating topic, and we'll be talking a lot more about AI and finances in 2024. AI is a phenomenal tool, but like anything, it has its advantages and disadvantages. And so,
Correct.
So true.
everything we're talking about here today, I suspect next year at the end of 2024, we'll be talking when we revisit cybersecurity. We will have the AI aspect of it to figure in, because everything continues to change. So this has been a great
Awesome.
discussion. It is a part of our festive finance e-learning series. We're having two shows. This week was our first one, and I think it went very well. Next week, we're going to be talking about, we're moving on from holiday season cybersecurity tips, and we're going to be talking about the pitfalls of spaving. Spaving, I just discovered a few months ago. Spaving is when you spend money to save money, and we all do it. You spend 10 extra dollars so you can get free shipping. You spend $20.
Did you really save?
Exactly. You spend $20 to save $50 on something else. You buy the larger, you know that you don't need more than 4 in a pack, but they give you some deal where, if you buy 6 and you pay $5 more, you spend more, and God knows sometimes whatever it is, those extra 2, you never actually
Spoil.
get around to using
They
it.
expire.
Or
Exactly.
expire. Yes.
Exactly. So, saving is something that we all do, and of course, in the holidays, you're on a spending spree, and it's so easy to fall for that trap. So next week we will be joined by a lovely young lady. Her name is Luana
Luana.
Laurent.
Mm-hmm.
I have not met her, but I've seen her online. She's from Dominica, and she has a show called, well, her business is Finance Focus, and just like us, she does a lot of e-learning and webinars. So we're going to be going to the um, what do you call Dominica? The Emerald Isle? No,
The
that's
land of many
land of
rivers.
many rivers. Yes, rivers. Yes. So we are going to be talking to Luana. I've seen her shows. She's very dynamic, and she's going to be talking about spaving. And she's been really promoting it on her website. So I think we're in for a great treat. So I want to end by saying another meme that we shared on our website, this on our Facebook page this week. Spending more money to save money is like speeding up the clock to save time. Neither works. So we are going to be, in addition to these 2 episodes, we've been doing a couple of articles. I think 2 of them have been published already in the Observer, Antigua Newsroom, and the local papers,
Mm-hmm.
just putting information out there about tips and information that you can use to better arm yourself as you manage your finances throughout the holidays. And of course, be sure to check out our social media pages where we continue to share a lot of information that's easy for you to use and share. And if you have not yet liked our YouTube channel, we have so much information. We talk so much that we didn't even realize how many shows we have. We just talk.
Yes. Oh my
So we
gosh.
are
And they're all so good. I
and
must
they're
say
all
they're
good.
so
If I must
good.
say so myself, they're all good stuff. I go back and listen, and it's amazing how time flies.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy that when we started on this journey, that we documented all of it, because I can go back now and look at things that we talked about 2 years, and we really crack up, and
Yeah.
we realize that and we get good feedback from lots of folks who say to us, keep doing what you're doing, because we really have learned a lot over the 2 year period. So we are over time, and we don't want to keep you too long. We want to thank all of you. Alan, it's been amazing. Nice to meet you
Yes.
again.
Thank you
Pleasure to
so
be
much,
here.
Alan. We
This was
enjoyed
a
it.
I
And
had
great
fun.
I
discussion.
hope we can call on you again a little later,
Absolutely.
because this was,
Absolutely.
I think we've only just scratched the surface. This
Absolutely.
is
Just scratch the
something
surface.
we need to come back and dig a little deeper. So thank you so, so much.
Yeah, this was
Anytime.
very
My
enlightening,
pleasure.
and it's a very critical topic that people don't think about as part of your financial planning strategies. But as we've seen here today, you can
It's important.
you can be the best saver, the best investor, the best planner. But if you don't stop to really ensure that you're cyber aware and have a sense of security around your transactions, you can have some real problems.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
again, we need to hear from you. We need your email so we can send you our weekly newsletter.
Newsletter.
It always has good stuff, and it's always a good read. We also ask that you share this episode with people who might have missed it. I'm sure they'll get a lot from it. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get an alert whenever we decide to go live. So we look forward to seeing you again next week. That'll be our last show for the year. And join us so we can talk about spaving. And you can definitely, I can tell you it's going to be a really great discussion where you really stop and think about the things that you do routinely that you never stop to think about, that can be a starting point for you in terms of just cultivating better financial habits. Megan, any last words before we sign off today?
Not really, just to say thank you so much to all of you for coming back. I see quite a few of our regulars are on, so thank you so much. Please spread the word for next week. It's going to be just as exciting and just as interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you next week. Alan, thanks once again.
No problem. Thank you. It was
Great.
fun.
Yes, yes.
Well, Alan, you have a very Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Yes.
And to
Merry
all of our
Christmas to you.
guests. We look forward to seeing you again next week as we look forward to Christmas 2023 and the new year.
Indeed. Thank you. Same
So
to you.
happy Wednesday evening, everyone, and we'll see you
Bye,
back.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.